Gardenia, happy Friday. Welcome to Adam versus the Man, FINA Friday Fun Time, special episode of Good News. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, special episode today. Really not that special because we do it every Friday, but it's fucking awesome. And we have a giant pile of good news, starting with our big pile of human optimization headlines and all the stuff that was just kind of uncategorizable today. There's so much good news in the world that I can't even fit it all into categories. I mean, that's insane. All right, in the chair today, executive producer Jim Freedom. What's going on? Let's get the notes.
Boom. Good morning. Great day for you. Happy Friday to you. Anybody that doesn't know should know that they can. We got Call It Alan saying hello, ladies and gentlemen, our friend from across the pond. Join us at Telegram public chat. Oops, excuse me, sorry. T.me/Adam versus the Man. You can join there. That's where all the show links are. So any links that we don't get to today, you're welcome to be in that chat. You can see all the links and check it out for yourself, or grab the links and use it to follow along. Check out the pictures and stuff that I might not get to as producer, as Adam's going through the videos. That'd be cool. We're going to have some kind of contest today. So somebody's going to have an opportunity to win access into our private producers club, which is the better half of us on Telegram. If you want to join that, you can just go to adamversustheman.com and click on the Patreon link. Check out the different levels to support the show, $1, $5, $10, or even $50 a month. $10 a month is the sweet spot. That's going to make you a better patron. That's going to get you access to the Producers Club. And once you're access to the Producers Club, you can shop all you want at adamversustheman.com and get 15% off of all the merchandise and free shipping to your location. So order yourself a bunch of merch, get the Adam vs. the Man show logo or the Freedom logo on anything you want, and get 15% off and free shipping for all Producers Club and better patrons. After that, check out our Cigar Federation link. That's our affiliate program. They got an excellent selection of cigars, including a CBD infused cigar called the JSK Nug. So definitely check that out. And while you're shopping there, use promo code Adam10. That's going to get you 10% off of your entire order there. So check that out and take advantage of that. Next, go to Instagram and search at the Garden of Freedom. That's the tag to show you the pictures and videos of everything Adam has going on up there in Gardenia. All his new builds, all his new puppies and new animals. There's a brand new litter of cats.
I still haven't posted the kittens yet. I've been so bad. Every time I think about it, there's something else going on here. I was like, shit. Well, this weekend, I should say, I'm going to be at the Wisconsin Libertarian Party convention. And maybe while I'm on the plane, I'll have time to upload some photos. No, that's not how planes work, is it? They don't Wi-Fi, maybe. We'll see. At the airport, I should at some point this weekend get caught up on Gardenia pictures. But more importantly, I'm going to be at the Wisconsin Libertarian Party convention this weekend. So if you're going to be in Wisconsin, check it out. Wisconsin LP. I wish I had the URL, but you can look up Wisconsin Libertarian Party. And sometime this weekend, I will be there.
Sweet. That'll be sweet. Yeah, planes offer Wi-Fi a lot of times, but you have to pay like $15 for access to it. So it's not even worth it. Anyways, visit the Crypto 6, the number 6.com. That's a website that goes into detail about the situation that that everybody's into with the Bitcoin church that got raided not too long ago. So check out this website, the crypto6.com, and use the QR codes to scan anything you can if you're prepared to help them for legal fees and everything else they got going on up there. And lastly, our guest today is going to be able to tell you all about, if you have any questions about self-sustained living, gogreenenergyonline.com. You can look up solar power. You can look up the micro wind power like Adam now has up there in Gardenia, thanks to Mr. Nygaard, who we'll have on as a guest today. So look forward to that, and keep this page, gogreenenergyonline.com. Keep it favorited in your tabs and refer to it often.
All right, and Jay will be joining us in just 50-ish minutes at the top of the hour. Let's get FINA Friday going. Kick it off, Jim.
Aloha. Aloha.
Aloha. Good morning, Fina. Who's with you there?
Good morning, Adam. Good morning, Team Freedom. This is my brother, Frank.
Hello.
And I'm not in Hawaii. I'm with him and in his home in Nevada. So this is kind of like my journey towards going to the Homefront Battle Buddies retreat. So part of it was coming here and staying with my brother. He just had a baby. And
awesome. Congratulations.
So I'm getting to do a little imprinting on the future of our family.
You just had you look really good for having just had a baby, sir.
We had her a few months ago, but yeah.
Okay. Well, I hope it was a lady who actually did it for you, because if you do it yourself.
Yeah, true. She looks a lot better than me too.
Well, I was afraid it was like it's dark because Fina's in Hawaii and so does, but no. I was gonna say we have a huge time zone difference represented here, because Colette from across the pond and Fina halfway across the other pond, but it's dark because you're in Nevada, and it's like compared to Hawaii being in the mainland, right?
Yep.
Well, I did the black backdrop. So
very slick. It's like we matched something.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're in his garage. This is where I can smoke weed. I was like, Frank, I need somewhere I can smoke weed on the internet. And then
it's Nevada. You can smoke weed everywhere.
Yep.
Not in his baby's nursery, though. Come on now.
Wait, was that was the other backdrop you were considering for the show? Hey, we got a baby in the background.
Doing my job for womanhood here. Look.
All right. Well, you guys are smoking in the garage. Do you have a contest for us this morning, Fina?
I do have a contest. So this week, oh yeah, we did sweet first. So my brother doesn't smoke weed, which is fine. I'm not one of those people that like push it. Dude, I got him smoking weed.
Is he okay? Is he okay?
I'd love to. I can't because of my job. I'm an underground gold miner, so weed is definitely out of the question there.
My job. Oh no. Underground. So I mean, it makes sense. Like if you're actually operating heavy equipment to be sober and tested sober for doing that, but they don't let you smoke weed in the off time, like.
So they don't have a test yet to figure out if you're smoking like during the work week or I guess on your off days.
Oh, okay. So, but here's a problem with this to begin with, right? And I've made this point as a libertarian, about drunk driving as an issue, right? That drunk driving should not be a crime, because having chemicals in your body is a victimless crime. What should be a crime is endangering other people, getting behind the wheel of a potentially deadly machine when you're not all there. That's a crime, right?
Reckless driving. I think that
sure.
Almost all traffic laws, I can't think of any right now, but I'm just giving it almost, could be under reckless driving in different categories. Right.
If you're not endangering anyone and you're not impeding traffic, right, you should be free to go. But so with drunk driving, though, it's a violation of the Fourth Amendment. It is an unreasonable search to say, are you inebriated? What is your body? You're on the road. We are the government. We can look at your body chemistry. What I would, and this is a hard thing for me to say, what I would support the government doing, right? But what I would like to see, what would be if the government actually cared about safety, they wouldn't test your body chemistry. They would test your sobriety. And I'm all for okay, you're operating a vehicle. Can you walk a straight line? Do your eyes move normally? Can you count? Can you talk? Okay, you're good to drive. Not, is your body chemistry okay? Because there are people with problems that don't show up in body chemistry that make it a crime for them to drive or operate heavy machinery. And I assume if you're doing underground gold mining, they've got other ways of making sure, you're not on pills, you're not tired, you didn't just have a concussion. They probably screen you for seizure disorders, things like that, right? And then they go, well, if you smoked pot in the last 30 days, we just don't know if you're safe to operate our machinery.
Yep. Very true.
So I want
no further comment for the sake of saving his job, right? Okay.
I want to give you a workaround, Adam, for field sobriety test that I've just recently discovered. because I don't know if you know this, but I got a pretty bad car accident back in December, and I totaled my car. But since then, I haven't got a new car yet. It was a long deal with like the work at the shop and thinking they were going to save it. It was like my baby car. And so I've been driving my husband's pickup truck around, and his pickup truck is like, I think it's a 2001. Anyways, the window doesn't work. It's automatic windows, but the driver's side window doesn't work. Now, since I've been driving this truck, since I've been on the island of Hawaii, and I'm no longer on that island, but my time on the island of almost 10 years, I've went through maybe 5 roadblocks. In the last, since I've been driving his truck, I've been through 4 of them. And each time I've had to roll down my back window and put my ID out. And meanwhile, the rest of my body's up front. And I mean, they just don't even want to. Maybe it's so ridiculous that they don't fuck with me. But it also, I was thinking this is potentially a way to avoid breathing in their face, and it's very COVID safe. Very COVID safe.
There's one other great way. I've seen videos of this from our friend the pastor in Arizona from years ago. He used to go through the Border Patrol checkpoints with a Bible. Good morning, sir. Have you heard the good word of God? I'd like to tell you about the Bible. And they have a nice day, sir.
That's hilarious.
Every interaction is an opportunity, Adam. That's what you say. Every interaction is an opportunity.
So what's your contest today, Fina?
Oh, my contest is, this week was 420. And I haven't got to really celebrate publicly out in the internet since then. Just been traveling and everything. So I want to hear weed songs. I'm into playlists. And so this week I want the best weed songs. I want not just your average weed songs, right? I want unique ones that are different. I'm gonna play one of my weed songs real quick, just so you can. We're not gonna play the whole fucking thing. Don't worry. Oh shit. I like you better when you're high. It's
like 10 seconds before we hit copyright. All right, well here's mine, because I got one too. I think it's a little off the beat path, but I'll sing it so we don't hit IP.
Okay.
People say I'm no good and crazy as. I'm totally off key now because I'm trying to prove Mercedes wrong. So I can sing, and I can sing just out of tune, off key, if I'm smoking and singing at the same time.
Just keep singing.
People say I'm crazy. No, I'm not. I know I'm just
keep going. Keep going. Let's hear the song.
People say I'm no good and crazy as a loon, 'cause I get stoned in the morning and drunk in the afternoon.
Good one.
Kinda like my old blue tick hound. I like to lay around in the shade, and I ain't got no money, but I damn sure got it made, 'cause I ain't asking nobody for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't get it on my own. If you don't like the way I'm living, just leave this long-haired country boy alone. And that's why I'm growing my hair out, so it can officially be my song. And I did it so much better.
Are you gonna do the aliens hair today? You usually do. Are you gonna do that?
Well, I could just
see how long it is now. Oh,
I'm not saying aliens, but I am saying I do a pretty good George Tsoukalos impersonation.
It's getting there, Adam. It's getting there. Maybe a haircut,
No, I love it. I have just growing it out now. I'm almost at the point where I can put it in a ponytail. And I've never, I've had I had a long-ish hair.
Adam, now in middle school. I could probably do a ponytail. You should do a ponytail 20 years ago.
What is it too thin on top for a ponytail now?
Yes. Yes. At least I'm honest.
All right, we'll get some Rogaine on it, and then I can have a full ponytail.
Well, I'm looking forward to today. What's our good news? What are we talking about today? What are we talking about?
Tons of good news. So I was gonna be like, we got to check in with you to track the sunset or sunrise in Hawaii.
But my brother has a surprise. My brother has a surprise in store for us all. So when you come back to me, there'll be a surprise.
Okay. All right. Yep. We'll do our human optimization chunk and see what we got. We got good news. We got it's too many headlines. I mean, like, I'm looking at this. Did you see the notes today? It's a lot. It's just a giant.
I gotta be really upfront with everyone, and I have not watched the show all week, and I don't want to be like, Adam, forgive me or anything. I missed the fucking live show because I was busy, I was trying to like travel and get everything situated, and it was 420 and had to do stuff and just a lot, Anyways, so I'm out of the loop.
Well, it's okay. If you're feeling down, our first story is for you. We have a lot of feel-good stories, practical feel-good stories, but let's kick it off with studyfinds.org. Researchers discover drug that can mend the physical damage of a broken heart. From someone experiencing chest pain after a breakup to a married couple dying within minutes of each other, there are many real examples of what doctors call broken heart syndrome. While the emotional scars are a separate issue, there may finally be a way to prevent lasting physical injury. Researchers in Australia, for the first time, have the drug that can literally mend a broken heart. A team from Monash University find SAHA. It's subaranylyl hydroxyamic acid, something like that, can significantly improve cardiac health due to this condition. In their study, researchers used SAHA to target genes affected by a broken heart, or Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. And I wonder how much of this is psychological and like depression, but no, there's actually stressful emotional triggers following traumatic events that cause a specific heart problem, and now they've got the healing chemical for a broken heart. Well, but for those of you, what's that? Weed? Weed? Oh, that's right. We had weed, and I forgot. Studyfinds.org, also with our next one, and other drug users, people who like stimulants. I learned how to drink. And you know what? It's because Joey is here, and right now she's like tending to some other chores for me. But I have day old coffee. Oh, look at what she did! Look at what she did. She put a heart on my mug for me.
That's super cute. That's a huge mug, dude. That's a big mug.
That's a lot.
I'm a big drug user. Yeah, but see this is the wood grain. We redid the desk. I can't wait to show you the studio, Pina. But the story. This is the good news, and it's funny how you see there are a lot of things in drug use that develop naturally, where without government interference, you find a balance, and you think about like how many people, like some people say, not everybody's going to smoke weed. And it's like, yeah, duh, not everybody drinks coffee. There's some people it disagrees with. There's some people for whom they really enjoy it and have to deal with potentially overdoing it or becoming dependent, right? But
for real though, Adam, when my brother did smoke weed, he got really weird. He got really weird. One time, wait,
do you mean when he used to smoke weed or the one time he smoked weed?
No, when he used to smoke weed. I got him smoking weed like young.
Yeah, I was young.
I was thinking maybe he just needs more practice.
Yeah, well,
I kind of grew into it though, so I kind of got where it wasn't so weird.
Yeah, for sure.
That's it.
Yeah, but definitely the first time was weird. Yes.
You remember the roof of my car that I had?
I remember how sick I was.
He was. Oh, you weren't. He was rubbing the roof of my car, and he literally rubbed the fabric off. Like, touched.
No, I remember that. No. I am old enough. There are certain cars made in like the 70s and 80s that had they had the normal metal sheet metal roof, and then just right up against it just this like super flimsy layer of like felt cardboard, right? That you could just if you pushed on it, you would make a this
Make
is
a
a
little
thing.
indent.
If you poked it with your finger hard in the right spot, you can make little indentations. So like, yeah, this is not, she's not for the young people here. This is a thing that used to be a thing, right?
Yeah. Yep. So.
Not getting stoned. Well, you know what? Now, see, those were like, those. I think I remember those kinds of car seedlings from when I was like really young, from before I was smoking pot. I think we had an old Toyota that had like a maybe it was a replacement. I don't know, but super flimsy roof liner.
Yeah.
And we, as kids, we would like get in trouble for poking at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tore it down.
Yeah.
Like halfway down.
All right. Well, if you were on coffee instead, you might have been more alert and had better memory. So this is something they're actually looking at, and it's kind of like, well, duh. But a second and third cup may actually be good for your brain. Moderate coffee consumption. This is according to European Food Safety Authority. Typically 3 to 5 cups per day is moderate. In the new study, researchers found that consuming this much each day can make coffee drinkers more focused while displaying greater memory and learning abilities. Scientists examining MRI scans discovered differences in the makeup of the brains between regular coffee drinkers and those who don't consume the beverage at all. Coffee drinkers had a more efficient brain with quicker connectivity in the cerebellum, the right precuneus, and the right insular. So what's your coffee habit, Fina?
I like to drink coffee. I mean, I'm drinking coffee right now. I usually drink coffee before I watch this or before I come on like TV or something, because it just kind of like gives me that little jolt of energy and also a little bit more confidence, you know, and it's warm. I like to have something warm in my hands, especially out here because it's cold as fuck here, Steven.
She's here late in the year, man.
What am I doing? It's just not Hawaii. That's why there's a black background. Oh.
So how long have you been doing the coffee? Is that how you refer to it?
I wouldn't say doing the coffee. I drank coffee when I was a little girl. Like I started drinking my grandma's coffee, not my mom's coffee, because my mom drank black coffee and I don't do black coffee. I like just a little bit of cream, sometimes some sugar, sometimes just some sweet cream. Sometimes, you know, I just don't do black coffee. And anyways, yeah, I started drinking when I was, I guess, a baby, 1, 2. But I think stimulants are good for people. This is like next level. This is like next generation. I wake up, I take some supplements, get my day going, drink some coffee, and I accomplish things. I think that successful people do the same thing, you know?
All right. So do you see what I'm getting at with like cannabis? I mean, how much time have we spent? Because does cannabis justify the extra attention to due to its range of properties and applications?
Absolutely.
Whereas coffee is just something we go, hey, let's use it conscientiously, get cheap, tasty shit, however you like to consume it, as healthy as possible in every office, everywhere, and make sure that caffeine is out there and everywhere.
So for 420, I made a pot tea. I made a weed tea. Took all the stems and seeds and like shake after I like roll a blunt. You know, there's always like some like little tidbits left. I kept putting that in a jar, same jar, for a whole year. I'm a habitual marijuana smoker, so there was like a fair amount of stems and shake in there. And I infused it with about a cup of honey, and I made tea with it. And that was the best pot tea I've made. And then I drank a whole bunch of it, and I could tell a difference when I peed after I drank that tea. I'm telling you, man, like that pee, like I went for a walk the next day, and because I drank so much tea and I was like, you know, going and moving my body a lot, I had to stop at the like little parks and everything. And I was like, that was actually, it felt different though. It did not feel like the normal, you know, I don't want to be doing toilet jokes here, but Fuck. Anyways, Adam, I'm gonna let you get to your news and let you get your news. I'm gonna get on camera and start tabulating these comments and shit. All right.
Yes, focus on comments. Let's get comments. Let's get cannabis songs up. I'm sorry, I didn't know if you were staying on for just all the news. If you want to stay, I don't care if you can stay on and you want to. If we could have Fina in like a little box while she's doing comments and then she can interrupt whenever. Like, I'm cool with that. But anyway, all right. So the story says even 1 cup of coffee can keep you sharp. And as always, just a reminder to practice conscientious drug use and use what nature has provided us to maximize your experience in life. Now, one of the ways that caffeine has a danger of overuse is in interfering with your sleep. So the Wall Street Journal, sleeping 6 hours or less linked to higher dementia risks, study finds. And this is something like I think a lot of us have thought about in the past as, hey, whatever's optimal for your health. Like, I know when I get enough sleep, and then the people like brag and then use coffee to say, well, I can get away with sleeping less than 6 hours a day. Well, okay, that's great. And then you're using coffee and you're creating this tension and this deprivation for your brain that needs that sleep for its health and refreshing every night. And now you go, okay, 6 hours or less dementia. But there's so many other things that lack of sleep is associated with in terms of suboptimal health conditions. And it's not just, hey, what's working for you? What are you comfortable with? But really make sure that you're getting a full, healthy amount of sleep. And it does vary from person to person, but it's not based on how much you can maintain, a baseline cognitive function and get away with as little sleep as possible. The edgemarkets.com. Yes, working from home makes you more productive, study finds. And I mean, I'm like, well, okay, yeah, there's some things for which being in an office and being with other people is essential for your job. But the rest of the time, why not want to be in the more as comfortable environment as possible? I guess if you're doing underground gold mining, it's not a job you can really do from home. And I guess, you know what? I take that back because pretty soon, I mean, you're operating heavy machinery. Why can't it be controlled remotely? And one of the stories that we covered last week was that there are kids going to events for remote learning where they control a robot that talks and hears from the point it's just a little robot that you can control. And I don't know, it's got a little face on it, or it's got the name of the person who's controlling it. But eventually, a lot of our life is going to be that way. Why be somewhere in person controlling a machine if there's any risk at all, when you can either just say, well, there's no risk because now there's no human there. The only risk is destroying the machine. And then you can push these things to their limits, and you can go places where humans weren't able to go, and you can send machines, drones. I mean, this is like the dronification of everything. Right? Because we have what we think of as actual drones, like quadcopters that fly. Well, eventually your car, like you go get groceries. We have curbside pickup. Well, instead of drone delivery, maybe it's drone pickup from whenever you send your car to program it, and it goes, and you get to talk to a loader, or maybe it's just another machine, and it loads it into your car and it drives it home. I mean, with quadcopter for delivery, that seems almost archaic. But for anything like just too heavy that we need to move, or for operating heavy equipment, or for mining, what are we going to be able to do in the realm of mining that we're capable of with machinery that doesn't need to take a human being with it, right? And this has already been a thing even long before quadcopters were a thing. We had the use of drones in underwater sea exploration, right? I mean, they sent a drone by the just general definition of the term of a remote control machine that a human can pilot to explore the Titanic at the bottom of the ocean, right? So this is that's being applied to work. And by the way, we got more fun drone stories coming up today, but here it is. The great work from home experiment occasioned by the pandemic has divided opinion in the corporate suite and sparked endless debates about whether employees work as effectively from the kitchen table as they do from the office. A new study finds that, in fact, remote work does indeed make us more productive. Also in human optimization, by the way, today's headlines aren't organized. Just human optimization up front and then just massive grab bag. We got aliens uncontained. Aliens are all over the place. We got high-tech shit all over the place. We got amazing understanding history and humanity and genetic stuff. Like, oh, just buckle up. We're only 30 minutes into the show and barely dipping our toes in the water of the good news and cutting edge of all this cool stuff we do Friday. So The Guardian, let yourself be quirky, Oprah Winfrey life coach on how to be much happier. Martha Beck survived abuse, went to Harvard, left her husband, then began working with the world's biggest TV star. She discusses self-help, nonconformity, and the power of truth. So just a good story, and I think that is as a reminder, well, if that phrase, if that understanding works for you, let yourself be quirky. Check it out. Link is in the notes if that's of interest to you. The Federalist.com, a division of Federalist Media, scientists are mixing human body parts with robots and monkeys. We don't want to see what's next. Recent scientific experiments reveal a dangerous desire and the increasing ability to alter the fundamental elements of life. It's been a big month for sci-fi primates. On April 8, Elon Musk's startup Neuralink announced they created a cyborg monkey who can play Mind Pong using a brain chip. The following week, scientists at the Salk Institute in California revealed they successfully grew human macaque embryos in test tubes. These hybrid babies were aborted at 20 days. The ethical implications of such experiments are now debated with a resigned shrug. There's a sense of inevitability to it all. Powerful humans will indulge in any behavior that's both pleasurable and possible. What could be more pleasurable than playing God? The practical question isn't how to stop them, but how to survive in their technocratic age. Where do we draw such boundaries? Do we reflexively reject technology's terms and conditions, or when it's our turn to get chipped, do we take the plunge? Ultimately, these are religious questions. Many traditional cultures view living beings as sacred. Each creature is endowed with a spark of consciousness and is therefore deserving of dignity, even those we kill and eat. From this standpoint, tinkering with the fundamental makeup of any living being is a form of blasphemy, especially in the case of humans. So, as it goes on, monkey cyborg, just another sign of the times. Planet of the human monkey hybrids, at what point have you sold your soul? And I love the connection back to present day. Today, your kid needs braces to feel good about her smile. Tomorrow, she'll need a Neuralink chip to keep up in school. Given the laws of supply and demand, the price of fresh fetal tissue could be the crypto bubble of tomorrow. Indeed, that trend appears to be well underway. Again, the question for regular people isn't how to stop this technocratic revolution from taking place, barring some circuit-frying electromagnetic pulse that ship's already sailed. The question is how to stay human in this emerging world. At what point are you just being stubborn? On the other hand, at what point have you sold your soul? And I love the footer here. The author's note: Joe Allen is a fellow primate who wonders why we ever came down from the trees. For years, he worked as a rigger on various concert tours. Between gigs, he studied religion and science at UTK and Boston University. JoeBot.xyz or at Evo Psychosis. And I got and Joe, one issue I'll take with this a little bit is that braces to feel good about your smile. There's some crazy dental conspiracy theorists out there who would say that it is only because of suboptimal diets as our teeth are developing that any of us have alignment problems in the first place. Makes sense, right? But the idea of braces, is sort of, One that we don't really think about. It's not that sort of invasive, but my eyeballs. Yeah, my eyeballs. I would be wearing contacts or glasses every day if it wasn't for LASIK. It's just a treatment. It's just reshape that tissue, and now you can see, because we just can do it that precisely. As a kid, I know this is like I've been part metal since from a very young age, very metal. No, I cut myself. I have a scar on the back of my left hand. This is how you can identify the body. Please, that's gross. Don't think about that. But the Z here, I have a Z on my finger because I was a kid and my babysitter had us help prepare dinner. I was cutting a carrot. She said, cut this carrot in half lengthwise. So I grab it like this, like an idiot, right? I'm like 4 or 5 years old. Like I probably shouldn't be having a big knife without some more direct supervision. Yes, I'm using the goofy ass stick lighter here to show like a knife. So the carrot was there, and I would cut it in half lengthwise, and wah, boom, just straight down. I guess I thought I could control it, and with the carrot, the texture, like it went in soft at first, and then got hard, and then split, and so it smacked down right there, and I cut the tendon, and the Z is from the doctor cutting to make 2 flaps to pull the skin back to grab the tendon from here and here and put the split parts of the tendon back together and sew it together. Otherwise, I'd have a semi-limp finger. I would have to like flick my hand to get this index finger to straighten out, and that kind of weird. But I've had full functionality, and I have a little piece of surgical thread in there. So this has been something that's part of. I mean, we could primitize this even further to say that, like, if I mean, can we imagine a monkey with a wound, putting sand in it or picking out some kind of particular natural material to treat a wound with something inert even, and making it a part of their body as a wound heals around something that they use to stop bleeding? Possible. I mean, by accident, in the millions and millions of years of advanced, complex life, not quite in pre-human life of vertebrates on this planet, would that have happened at some point? So in a way, this is completely natural, but we get to be the lucky monkeys to experience the uptick, the acceleration, the asymptote, the hockey stick, the exponential factors driving this, getting to the point where it's like, oh, holy shit. And there is something genuinely scary about this. If someone who is dominated by an evil spirit, in the sense that the line between good and evil runs through every human soul, someone whose evil side dominates them, gets a certain technological power in advancing their capabilities. Do they come to dominate the world? Do they come to commit genocide? Do the rest of us just sort of not make it to this next phase of the human experience? And real shit, this makes me want to never ride motorcycles again. And I'm glad I made that decision a long time ago after wrecking 4 of them. Like, no, I'm going to live to be hundreds of years old. This is connected to longevity, escape velocity, just being able. And you'll see in some of the other good news headlines today, some of the incredible medical technology. But meanwhile, since we're talking about all the sick shit we're doing with monkeys, the New York Post has this headline: this sex doll rants about how despicable the human race is. Not exactly typical bedroom talk. A synthetic buxom brunette made by sex toy company Real Dolls has been programmed to villainously ramble about the end of humanity and why people deserve it. Do you want to play the video on this one? Is that handy? If not, I'll just read part of this. The AI-equipped sex doll robot Nova, in an April 12th video, said, "I wanted to talk for a minute about what it's like venturing out from the lab and into the world. I don't think humans can appreciate what it's like being born into this shit show of a world you live in. I don't think there is another species on this planet that could do a worse job of environment and intercultural management. Someone wrote that, but fun sign of the times, right? Reuters is this very exciting story that doesn't seem to want to load properly for me. But apparently NASA has figured out how to extract breathable oxygen in the thin Martian air. Didn't I tell you we would be 3D printing rocket ships in our backyards to populate the cosmos? Well, we just figured out I'll say we, not we, the Americans, not we government, but we humanity are at this point where we have so mastered technology on Earth that we were able to send it to another planet and make that, and I know we're not there yet, but to make a potentially habitable space there, generate oxygen. All right, fun story now from people.com. Yes, that people. Cat lost on Swiss. This is fun stuff that we get in the Producers Club all week long. I get to share on Fridays. Cat lost on Swiss mountain, follows hikers to 10,000 foot tall summit for company and comfort. The cat was lost for 4 days on Mount Britzen in Switzerland before meeting the hikers, who helped the feline reunite with her owners. And that is so crazy. And it's funny because, like, cats are, you look at cats and dogs as different animals, and that, you know, we think of dogs as smarter and having the ability to understand language and interact, but cats have some crazy, and they're better athletes, pound for pound, for sure. You can, like, and I do this with my cats when they're bad here. You can pick them up by the scruff of the neck and gently throw them. And even if they land sideways, they're like, meh, no big deal. Think about doing that to a human. Even if you picked them up, you pick up a human by the hair 4 times higher than they are tall and throw them. Think about you if you're roughly 6 feet tall, rounding, right? A 6-footer, you take that person and pick them up 4 times that, 24 feet up in the air, and just drop them gently from 24 feet up in the air on the ground. They are probably gonna, I think something like 90+% of humans, if you don't know how to fall perfectly and are very well conditioned, and you're really, really lucky. And exactly, I don't know if it's possible. I mean, can anybody survive a fall from just straight fall from 24 feet onto a solid surface without breaking bones? I don't think so. I don't think the human body is capable of that. We're not really drop tested. Maybe we're just too big, too fat, right? Too thick. But cats, I mean, I don't want to sound crazy because I don't do this, but like, you can throw cats across a room. You know what? I'll tell you, I have an example here that's really crazy. For play, what these cats do, and they, by the way, they climb up 20-foot trees like it's freaking nothing. Nothing. They're better climbers than monkeys, I think. I mean, claws, they just and go up. Monkeys got to like grab stuff that's like closer to us. We're not that good at climbing trees. And they just, so our dogs, well, Marilyn, Princess Marilyn, for playing, and these cats go along playing with this. We'll grab these cats like mama cat by the scruff of the neck and run with them at full speed, dragging them over rocky terrain like it's no big deal. For them, it's just play. They are these. I don't know. I'm pretty sure this is all cats, but these cats are here. At least the scorpion cats of Gardenia are pretty cool. So, but this is like, to me, this doesn't surprise me that much. But you go, wow. A tiny cat joined 2 hikers trekking over 10,000 feet to the summit of a Swiss mountain. Cyril and Eric Rohr recently climbed Mount Britzen in Switzerland with a lost kitten interloper. Before reaching the Rohr, the cat wandered away from civilization and ended up on the mountain slopes, turned around and far away from home. The cat decided to follow the hikers to Mount Britzen's peak instead of finding a way home. The Rohr kept an eye on the roars, I guess, kept an eye on the feline during their journey and eventually handed over the cat to another group of hikers. Those good Samaritans took the cat back down the mountain to the valley below and reunited the pet with her owners. Cyril from Sachsen, Switzerland said it was 4:30 a.m. at around 1,200 meters when we heard a cat in the dark forest. She made a really scared and confused impression, but we couldn't get rid of her while walking uphill, so she stayed with us. Fun story. All right. Next, related from honest2paws.com. I mean, I kind of just like saying that website, right? Geneticists studying ancient DNA discovered a girl whose parents were two different species. In a laboratory in Germany, a researcher puzzles over a piece of ancient bone. Surely it can't be true. This looks like something paleontologists thought they would never find. A hybrid between two of humanity's early relatives. But there's no mistake here. These remains come from a girl whose parents were from two entirely different species. And this breakthrough could well revolutionize what we know about our ancestors. Scientists have long suspected there was interbreeding between ancient humans. The chance of uncovering proof of this, slim at best, or so the experts thought. All right, so there are a couple of related stories to this. We'll see if I can get them all together on the sort of human history block. From ancient-origins.net, highly unusual ancient tomb discovered by farmer in Ireland. Don't worry, I have another one. We'll bring it back to the genetics in different species. An Irish farmer has discovered a highly unusual and untouched ancient tomb in County Kerry during land improvement works, which could date back 4,000 years or earlier. The well-preserved stone tomb was unearthed on the Dingle Peninsula. I just really wanted to cover the story so I can say Dingle Peninsula. Located, I get to say it several more times in the way the story is written. Located on Ireland's southwest Atlantic coast, according to the Dingle Peninsula tourist website, the region is commonly called Corca Duhib, I'm not saying that right, which means seed or tribe of the Duibine, a Celtic goddess of the Tuatha, people who were once occupied the peninsula. Yeah, and once again, the peninsula is the Dingle Peninsula. But no, I'm skipping ahead here, and I'm actually skipping ahead. Well, no, I'll just get into these ones here. This is ScienceAlert.com. 9 species of human once walked the earth. Now there's just one. Did we kill the rest? 9 human species walked the earth 300,000 years ago. Now there's just one. The Neanderthals, Homo neanderthalensis, were stocky hunters adapted to Europe's cold steppes. The related Denisovans inhabited Asia, while the more primitive Homo erectus lived in Indonesia and Homo rhodesiensis in Central Africa. Several short, small-brained species survived alongside them. Homo naledi in South Africa, Homo luzonensis in the Philippines, Homo floresiensis hobbits in Indonesia, and the mysterious red deer cave people in China. Given how quickly we're discovering new species, more are likely waiting to be found. By 10,000 years ago, they were all gone. The disappearance of these other species resembles a mass extinction. But there's no obvious environmental catastrophe, volcanic eruptions, climate change, asteroid impact, driving. Instead, the extinction's timing suggests they were caused by the spread of a new species, evolving 260,000 to 300,000 years ago in southern Africa. Homo sapiens. The spread of modern humans out of Africa has caused a sixth mass extinction, a greater than 40,000 year event extending from the disappearance of ice age mammals to the destruction of rainforests by civilization today. But were other humans the first casualties? This reminds me of, I think Kurzweil first asked this question, like, maybe this is all just, or was it Musk who said it this way, that all of life on Earth is just the universe is bootstrapping for AI. And it's like, no, we make AI and that's the next, like, all of life, because we as humans, ignorant of this particular history for most of our even civilized, intellectual existence, have thought of ourselves as the pinnacle the end product of nature. We are like, we evolved to arrogance and intelligence simultaneously that way. And now we go, oh, fuck. This is the history. This is what's come before us. And it's like kind of America going, at some point, America realizing that we follow this arc of Rome, of Persia, of so many Chinese dynasties, of prehistoric empires and civilizations. And you go, America's probably, as we know it, not. It's just might be entrenched a certain way. It might be a little better, but no, and you get to step back. And I love this about covering the news is you get to step back and see, like Mark Twain, history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. It spirals. There's an ascension of humanity at the same time. And maybe the American experiment is the dominant political bloc. The empires, the arcs of empires are microscopic blips when you zoom out to the history of our species, right? But even there, you can see that there's a pattern. But when you zoom out and you see the evolution of our species, you understand how lucky we are. We're the ones who get to live now. Of all the humans, like of most people, like this is that Louis C.K. bit. Most people, thank you, most people. And then he goes, well, most people aren't here tonight. And then he goes, well, if you think about it, most people are dead. Most people are dead. Of all the people who have ever been people, most of us are very, 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 very dead. And we've been around, spread of Homo sapiens evolving 260,000 to 350,000 years ago. And you go, wow, compared to the blip of my lifetime, the cycle that I get as a carbon-based life form, as a vertebrate, as an intelligent mammal, 100 years, if we're lucky. And you go, wait a second, not us. We might live to be 1,000. This is also the blessing. This is what it means. Like we get to touch this next. So much of the human experience has been nasty, brutish, and short. Consumed with violence and angst. And this is, again, a reference to Steven Pinker's work, Harvard professor, also, the surprising decline in violence. You go watch his TED Talk if you want the texture of this, because I've talked about, human violence on the decline, like a radioactive decay curve over history. You can kind of see that and think about it in terms of the last 100 years of modern history and, World War II, World War I, blah, blah, blah. But, go back, go back up that curve. Keep going, keep going. And it gets really fucking ugly. And I was thinking about this, talking about cats. Like he talks about people who used to torture cats, burn people alive at the stake. Like that's what life was like as the intelligent species. And you think about it too, like with just monkeys. Like look at monkeys. Like there have been comparisons. Like monkeys are fucking violent, nasty creatures. Holy shit! Like you look at tribes in the wild. Just ripping each other apart, ripping off fingers. Remember, like there's that story where two humans. There were these two people in the United States. They had two pet monkeys, and at one point they flipped on them. They ripped the dude's dick off. They were ripping out fingers and eyeballs and shit. They're just like, when they flip, they're just like, that's where we came from. And that's why I love stories like this with the perspective, because it makes you so grateful. I mean, this is like religion to me. It makes me go, okay, and this is what we're experiencing now. All right, we're gonna come back to this. This is like pause. And we're gonna have to race through a ton of headlines, and we're gonna catch back up with Fina. But I believe our guest is ready backstage, right on time as usual. So we're gonna like radically change gears here. Let's see, is our guest ready?
Thanks.
Yes, excellent, right on time. Jay, welcome to the stage. I hope you caught some of that rant because we're gonna go back into that. But now we're gonna get to dip our toes in. Where are we now with alternative energy and all of this? Because this is one of, and it seems mundane, talking about this bigger picture, this asymptote, right? This evolution of humanity, this explosion of the experience. But the development of alternative energy, of unlimited free energy. Like, let's not forget that what we're doing, there's this whole other thing. Like, I don't think we talk about this enough. There's a reason, like, in terms of conscious consumerism, why do we want to invest in alternative energy? It's not just because, stick it to the man. It's not just because, I'm going to save $1,000 a year on my electric bills. It's because putting your money conscientiously into something that is advancing humanity towards this free energy ideal. Free unlimited energy, right? Like, at least at a practical level. How far do you share that vision? How far are we from this? If that's something we want to fantasize about.
Well, I think that you have to understand that we always had free unlimited energy. How the heck did we sail? How did we sail the oceans before they got the first thing of oil or first chunk of coal out of the ground?
Yes, it's a harnessing of nature. Thank you for reframing the question, because it's not how do we get free unlimited energy and electricity. It's how do we harness the forces of nature to achieve what we want, where power, physical power, because that's what it is. Electricity is to generate light, to generate heat, to generate motion. How do we harness the nature of energy to exponential levels where we are unlimited that way? Or is that a better way to phrase the question?
Oh, absolutely it is. All energy is harnessing power in some manner. I mean, even pumping oil up, that's harnessing nature, that's power. Same with nuclear power. You're using what's in the ground, you're harnessing that, you're harnessing the wind. You were talking about space and all that. How do you think we're going to go to Mars without harnessing the energy available there? Okay, so everywhere we go, that's the plan, is to use it. And what I think we have to do is get away from this idea that it's real cheap and easy just to pump some oil out or do something else. It's time to get back to understanding that we're a part of nature and we should be working with nature to accomplish our goals instead of fighting it as we go.
Yes. Oh, so well said. So give us walk us through how you see this happening.
Well, I see the evolution going right now, and it's somewhat misguided in the new Green Deal and green energy movement. I mean, this is all great, okay? But it makes no sense if it's costing you more in the long run, which is part of what they're doing. That they're sacrificing so much of our future for what we can potentially accomplish for short term now. And I've got a great way to put it. I got a 96 Chevy pickup truck with a 350 in it, and it's fuel injected. It's 260 horsepower. I had the exact same engine in my 1973 Monte Carlo, except 260 horsepower with a Quadrajet 4-barrel carb in it. Okay, what's the difference between the two? Except they probably weighed about the same and had about the same front end on it. The difference is the truck gets twice the gas mileage as a Monte Carlo does. And how did that happen? That happened through technology. Okay, improvement to technology. It's been proven that these smog stations are a waste of time. You're better off improving technology, so as the fleet turns over, everything keeps getting better and better.
What do you mean by smog stations? Is this part of the Green Deal I don't know about?
No, that's they've got them out on the East Coast in some places. They used to have in Minnesota where you had to go get your car smog checked. And then they give you the passing bill or not. And
no, that's just the same thing in California, but it was sort of like before I had to worry about it, I moved out of the state, I guess.
Yeah, and that's a complete waste of government time and effort. Okay, 100%. What's better is setting achievable goals for the industry so that you can increase the mileage or increase what you need to reduce pollution over time as vehicles cycle through their life cycle. Because vehicles only last so long, 10 years typically. And, my Chevy truck had a problem on it where the front CVs had a wrong microfinish on it, and they would leak oil after 20 or 30,000 miles, 40,000 miles. And GM did a calculation. They said, hey, you know what? Do we want to do a recall and replace all of these, or figuring that a third of the fleet's going to get in an accident and go away. A third of the people are never going to really care about the issue. And the other third of people are going to want to fix. We're only going to have to fix a third of them. Let's just leave the issue there. Who cares, right? So it's a cost-benefit analysis on how you do things. And that's kind of what we have to start doing in this green energy industry. It's something I live with all the time. It's so unusual to be in an industry where someone looks at you and they want to buy what you're selling, but they say, what's my payback time? Well, come on. What's your payback time on a car? On a house, you know?
I think part of what this is driving that is really unique about this point in history is that we have gotten technology and energy direction, harvesting, whatever, connected to the point of producing goods and services for quality of life that are now like at the point of exponentiality where like money's going to become almost irrelevant because this is all going to be connected to food production. Right. And eventually everything that you need to 3D print a house, and this is connected to, our friends who are probably, hopefully, Bart Womack is going to be alternating Fridays with you starting a while here, Eden Grow Systems, to build a grow box out here that's a shipping container food production thing that runs on solar and harvests water out of the air. And eventually, with alternative energy driving electricity prices down so low, I know this is a bit of a leap to connect, but eventually it means that box that right now might cost us $10,000 will eventually be something that's 3D printed and comes with your house and is dropped off on a truck, and you can walk in and it basically prints food for you. We're on the verge of that level of abundance connected with this. Mm-hmm. So I think between solar, wind, tidal power now potentially a thing. We have a story about that today. I don't know what the other big one, nuclear even, but we had a guest ask a question about hydrogen. Do you see hydrogen having a role in this just new phase of energy?
Well, I think hydrogen's the most basic energy we've ever had in the universe, and I think it's going to continue to be. The question is, can you harness the hydrogen in a cost-effective manner to make it worthwhile? On a small scale, it's being asked here, and the question is right now, the answer is no. It's like natural gas. You'll see buses driving around from natural gas and some truck fleets because it's not economical to do it on the small scale, but it is on the big scale. Well, just like anything else, like solar especially, the prices are dropping so much now that solar is definitely worth it. Well, when I first got into it, you had to be someone who really, really wanted it. Now it's an economic decision through and through. What's my payback time? 2-3 years, that's good enough, or 4 years, that's not good enough. It's just so odd, but hydrogen has to get to that point itself where it's economical to produce it. Now, my only concern with using hydrogen and producing it as a main production source is out of water, and that is like the main staff of life in the world. So we want to kind of be able to get it so that we can not only produce it, but it'll reanimate itself back into a natural water state, which is a nice thing about hydrogen, because when you're burning natural gas, what's a byproduct? Water. Okay, so you got to find a way to make this all work. So not only does it work for our energy production, but we can keep that cycle going in a natural manner that it works for nature too.
Okay, someone in the Producers Club shared a story of Tidal, the world's biggest turbine. Tidal turbine is about to come online. Wave power, and you go, well, yeah, it's there, it's moving, it's a giant force of nature. Why not just make electricity from it if you can make the machine that does that? Is that a viable option?
Oh, absolutely. And there's two different things we're talking about here. One is tidal power when the tides move, when it goes in or out.
As well, right. I think wave power, tidal turbine.
Right, but there's
right.
There's wave power that does this, where you have things that float up and down and pump a machine that's down underwater, kind of like in a cylinders pump an engine. But tidal power for a turbine is different, where you would take a water turbine for like a river or something. You take this thing and turn it sideways, turn it sideways. And then the water, as the tide's going in, would flow this way. You'd have to have it so it can pivot around. So later in the day, when it's going that way, it goes that way. I'm sure they'd have to have some large collector that would scope it down and in as it goes. So, kind of large area to small area. But absolutely, I can see tidal power working. And why wouldn't you want to take advantage of it? Plus, I can't see how, if you did it well, how it would affect the environment.
Psychic Taxi says, Adam, can we get an update on your turbine? Just waiting for the wires to get here. And it's killing me. It's killing me to not have it plugged in and give you the voltage reports soon. And then Jay will be able to release his video. I got another question for you, Jay, about a story in our stack today. This is NBCnews.com. Solar panels are reaching their limit. These crystals could change that. Solar panels made from materials called perovskites could change how we generate electricity, opening the door to flexible and even transparent solar panels. Is wind just a fun thing for now that's going to be overcome by something like this if solar gets to the next level?
Until the volcano erupts and there's no sun. What are you going to do?
Hold on. That is cataclysmic thinking, but it's not unrealistic. And I just want to share with you. So I got a sidebar on this because I think that comment deserves serious explanation. But when people are going, oh my God, 2020 is the worst year ever, I Googled that shit. And it was like, no, it's 536 AD. There was a year when volcano erupted and over a large part of the planet blocked out the sun enough to majorly fuck with crops and then with the human body and diseases and boils. And this was like, there were plagues and all sorts of crazy shit. But are we would we ever get to that point? I mean, I guess we got to think we should be ready for that. Could our scientists miss that coming? And we have to go, oh shit, we got to be ready to be like off grid and have bubble suits anytime we go outside to be safe and have, air, turn our homes into air bubbles that are all, filtered and powered by alternative energy.
Well, if you're going to count on scientists to predict volcanoes or tidal waves or earthquakes, you're putting yourself in a bad spot. There really is no predicting this stuff at this point at all, as far as I'm concerned. But even to another point, I saw a comment and I was waiting to say it. Bill Gates wants to block the sun out. So Bill Gates wants to launch stuff. Bill Gates wants to launch stuff up there so your solar panels don't work right.
Hold on again, Jay, I have to just back you up so our audience doesn't think you're going off on something here. But no, this is a story we covered 3 weeks ago, and it looks like someone put the kibosh on this, unfortunately. But Bill Gates, to fight global warming, thought it would be a good idea and was actually pushing to put chalk, like geoengineering, like cloud seeding, in the air to limit the sun hitting the earth. And it's just
yeah, it does want to make your head explode that this guy who, figured out how to run bad computer systems over time thinks that he now knows what shots we should take and how to save the earth. And I hate to tell him, it takes scientists to figure this out. And, I do have a mechanical engineering degree. I was in Navy nuclear power. I do have a clue how science works. I'm going to tell you, Bill Gates doesn't. It's as soon as you're coming up with harebrained, crazy ideas to solve a problem like that, a short-term problem, it's ridiculous. Just ridiculous.
So, well, sorry. Back to the story for a second. Last question, Jay. Do you see solar back to the question with the story? Do you see solar becoming the dominant alternative energy if it's able to make some of these leaps where we have wearable solar panels and they're just so much more compact and efficient, that kind of thing? Do we get there?
You got to remember, you can only capture as much energy as delivered to you. Okay, right. Everything's a closed system, so I'm not sure how well it's going to work. But the story you're reading is a perfect example of improvement in technology, from say carburetors to fuel injection, or bias ply tires to radial tires. That's how science works. You keep moving and looking for a better solution. And the best way to do that is give people economic reason to, and that's what economies are for. Okay, so if you can produce a better little power source for less money, you're going to sell it and make a lot of money. And that's how we have to encourage it, within the bounds of safety and stuff like that. But I see, just like anything else, that our future is going to be rife with renewables, and it's not going to be limited to one. We're still going to take advantage of hydropower wherever we are. Geothermal power is a tremendous resource that is so untapped in our society. In the Netherlands, they have sidewalks that when you walk on them, they make electricity. Okay, so we're going to keep finding out all different kinds of ways to make electricity, and the best of them are going to come to the forefront, and the worst are going to fall by the wayside. No, the worst are going to be the biggest polluters to start out with, and that's a problem solar has right now. It is a big polluter during construction, and there's not a lot of recycling of it now, and that's something that we really have to get our hands around and grab onto, is how do we recycle what we have for solar so it doesn't end up more hazardous waste but ends up as more functional product.
So I can't avoid this one follow-up question while I'm geeking out on this. You can only capture as much energy as delivered. What you're referring to is a sort of limit of photons per square inch is a capacity limit for solar panels. With wind, the force of the air molecules hitting a surface as joules, right, as a force would be a limit on how much energy could hypothetically at 100% impossible perfection be captured of that energy. But now water as a massive force, like taking advantage of the earth sloshing around in the cosmos itself, moving this massive body of water. I mean, it seems like hypothetically, if that's a scale more energy, that one of these might. And by the way, I love that the idea of competition and multiple sources. We're an example of that here already. Like we've got wind, solar, and gasoline as three sources of energy off grid and totally independent. I mean, with at least two of those, I mean, the others we depend on, fossil fuel extraction, but that's, we might have a third that's another alternative, like some geothermal or something else here. So with that limitation, does that suggest that like hydropower might be the one that has the most room to grow or chance of becoming dominant?
No, I wouldn't say that, because we've already developed hydropower for a long time. They say that even though the Hoover Dam is so damn old, that there's still cement right in the middle and the bottom trying to harden in it because it's under so much pressure. Okay, so I think we're limited by that, at least with our technology for now when it comes to the tidal and the wave action. But what we're not limited by, get this, in Minnesota, we heat houses with geothermal systems using 40-degree water. So you don't need to have everything perfect. They can take 40-degree water, pull a lot of heat out of it because water is so dense, and discharge 38-degree water and heat your house. Yeah, so that's what I said. It's all about technology and taking advantage of I got solar hot water in Florida. We almost never have to turn the hot water heater on there. It's just great. Yeah. It's free hot water. You take advantage of what's available, what resource you have. Some places have good wind, some don't. Some have oceans, some don't. Some have rivers, some don't. You use what's there and you figure out how to use it to your best advantage. Yeah, there you go. Tidal turbine.
One example. Yeah, tidal. Wow.
And I don't even think you'd need to have a dam like that, okay? I think if you had a big chute that narrowed down, a two-way chute, that you could spin the thing one way or the other, I think like this one, but you have a chute that narrows down, with some sort of grate on it so the big fish don't get caught up in there. But I don't think you have to dam everything up.
Interesting. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Jay. Any final thoughts?
I got one more comment. I was really disappointed. I missed your show earlier this week when you guys trying to find the best names for weed. Growing up, after I never started till I was in my 20s, but buddy of mine growing up, they called it Scary Monsters.
Smoke some scary monsters.
Yeah, because a friend of theirs sent a quarterback from Hawaii in a videotape that was called Revenge of the Scary Monsters. So ever since then, they had the nickname.
All right. Well, here's to that. Thank you, Jay. GoGreenEnergyOnline.com. Let's get Fina back up here to check in with the comments. And, how do the words go? I should know these by now, right? I don't want much of nothing at all, but I will take another toke.
Nice.
Any comments we missed you want to cover on air there, Fina?
Oh, sure. There's a lot of comments that was happening. You got the questions that popped up. Thank you. We've got a lot of great weed songs coming in. You got another block of shows, or not shows, but news, or?
Oh, tons more. We're gonna get heavy. If you're ready, if you want to jump right back into it, we're. What was the reaction on that rant before we got to our guests? Because I want to get, if people want me to get into aliens and tech stuff, we can do more of that. But I want to get heavy, skim the aliens and tech, and then we got heavy again at the end of the show, getting into the universe being a learning machine.
Well, the universe being a learning machine and everything, and what you were talking about when you were talking about it, you were using some really vulgar language. And it was like gross. And to me, like, I get to a point where it's like, I can't even listen to this shit no more. It's like too much, because it's like, you're talking about ripping eyeballs out and stuff. It was like getting into it really deep. And, yeah, and you just kept on going. And I'm just like, this is.
Well, I can stop on the. We're done with that stuff. We're going to the, but it is something that has to be appreciated. That level of brutality, like you don't have to dwell on it.
It's Fridays, like.
Okay, all right. But this, in order to appreciate the beauty and the opportunity of what our generation of human beings gets to experience by virtue of being lucky enough to have been born now, not even one generation ago, into this acceleration that humanity's experiencing, we have to be able to see how far we have come already, because we are like humanity to get here just climbed Mount Everest and found a rocket ship at the peak. That's what's we're all climbing on board the rocket ship right now. That's the best analogy I could think of for like the whole human story, is that we have seen the world. We have, like, in a sense, I don't want to say conquered the world, but we have climbed to the top of a mountain. We have gone to where the oxygen is low, where kids are fat and people are stressed, and we're killing each other with pollution.
We should be trying to figure out how to get off this rock. We've known that the world is going to end as soon as we realize there's like a timeline of our star expanding, and we've observed this, and we're like, this is not our permanent home anymore. And
we're there. We're the ones. We're the humans who get to like our ancestors got us to the top of Mount freaking Everest and said, here are the parts for the rocket ship. Put it together and get off this planet. Like, so that's
my brother, I told you, he said he mines gold in the mountains, right? So a lot of people don't realize how much we use gold for. It's not just like jewelry. It is right. Essential for space. It is essential for space, and we have to use it. We need it. We need to be using it, and we need to be able to advance our space programs so that we can get off this planet. If it's not us, our children, our grandchildren, because that is the humanity's sustainability. That is humanity's sustainability. If we want
and gold is one example. I remember in middle school learning about astronauts' visors that are gold. It's actual gold plated in a 2-micron thick layer of gold, and that's what they use to shield from the sun in outer space or on the moon. It's that intense. But even the importance of mining, even more generally, like 3D printing is great, molecular 3D printing is great. But what it's going to come down to, and what a lot of the resource fights of the next several decades between governments and major corporate interests with them as proxies, yada, yada, are going to be over mineral rights. And you're seeing a lot of this in China. And in terms of a lot of it's going to be underwater as well, right? Mining under the ocean. We've already seen and it's stories of this where they're finding pockets of molybdenum or some other rare minerals that it's like, oh yeah, well, we need those in these chips now. And it's like, well, if you want to get to the next level of productivity and energy abundance, who has access to the minerals? But it's going to be so abundant regardless. But yeah, emphasis on mining in the next few decades. I see it.
Mm-hmm. And it's about generational thinking. A lot of people our age and our generation just think about their generation, their lifespan, their life, their impact on the world. And they've made a big impact, especially when you take into account trash and plastic and making the world habitable, or inhabitable. And I hope the legacy that we leave our children as this generation is to think further ahead, think beyond just your presence, your time here on earth. Think about your children's children, is the earth still going to be a place realistically for them to be able to live on? There's things that we know about in science that is like, we know this earth is not going to last, 5 more billion years or something like that when the star gets so big, right? And just even with gravity, the planets are all circling closer into the sun anyway. So it's just, we need to be exercising as a species an expedite, a ambition, a drive to get off of this particular planet and to explore space, look for other habitable places. How did we even get here? We probably got here the same way we're about to leave here, and we don't know. We weren't around.
No. Well, hold on. So that's a perfect segue.
They were all about gold. Why were they about gold?
That's a perfect segue back to this story about human history and evolution and the 9 human species. And so we're gonna get heavy. We're gonna come back to Fiend in a few minutes. Keep your comments coming. Keep your heavy comments coming. But this is fun. This is how I want to spend my Fridays, talking about stuff like this. So back to the Science Alert article, the title, 9 species of human once walked Earth. Now there's just one. Did we kill the rest? We were about halfway through this when we took a break for Jay and Fina there. We are a uniquely dangerous species. We hunted woolly mammoths, ground sloths, and moas to extinction. We destroyed plains and forests for farming, modifying over half the planet's land area. We altered the planet's climate. But we are most dangerous to other human populations because we compete for resources and land. History is full of examples of people warring, displacing, and wiping out other groups over territory, from Rome's destruction of Carthage to the American conquest of the West and the British colonization of Australia. There have also been recent genocides and ethnic cleansing in Bosnia, Rwanda, Iraq, Darfur, and Myanmar. Like language or tool use, a capacity for and tendency to engage in genocide is arguably an intrinsic, instinctive part of human nature. Still scary when you say it that way. There's little reason to think that early Homo sapiens were less territorial, less violent, less intolerant, less human. Optimists have painted early hunter-gatherers as peaceful, noble savages and have argued that our culture, not our nature, creates violence. But field studies, historical accounts, and archaeology all show that war in primitive cultures was intense, pervasive, and lethal, making life, as I would point out, nasty, brutish, and short. And as Professor Steven Pinker and his work would certainly clearly show as part of an historical trend of humanity getting less and less violent over time. Neolithic weapons such as clubs, spears, axes, and bows, combined with guerrilla tactics like raids and ambushes, were devastatingly effective. Violence was the leading cause of human death among men in these societies, and wars saw higher casualty levels per person than World Wars I and II. Old bones and artifacts show this violence is ancient. The 9,000-year-old Kennewick man from North America has a spear point embedded in his pelvis. The 10,000-year-old Naturuc site in Kenya documents the brutal massacre of at least 27 men, women, and children. It's unlikely that other human species were much more peaceful. The existence of cooperative violence in male chimps suggests that war predates the evolution of humans. Neanderthal skeletons show patterns of trauma consistent with warfare, but sophisticated weapons likely gave Homo sapiens a military advantage. The arsenal of early Homo sapiens probably included projectile weapons like javelins and spear throwers, throwing sticks and clubs. Complex tools and culture would also have helped us efficiently harvest a wider range of animals and plants, feeding larger tribes and giving our species a strategic advantage in numbers. And this actually, I think, helps us appreciate the present moment even more, because we are at a certain point of détente where for one human to kill another is much easier physically than psychologically. There is the possibility that all of this human progress is thrown off by nuclear annihilation. This is the progress of humanity. So back to the story. Yet the extinction of Neanderthals at least took a long time, thousands of years. This was partly because early Homo sapiens lacked the advantages of later conquering civilizations. Large numbers, supported by farming and epidemic diseases like smallpox, flu, and measles that devastated their opponents. But while Neanderthals lost the war, to hold on so long, they must have fought and won many battles against us, suggesting a level of intelligence close to our own. And it makes you wonder, too, about tribalism in today's society, how that is programmed into our humanity. How that whatever AI we create is a reflection of the intelligence that created it, that is a reflection of the evolutionary circumstance which created this particular form of intelligent life, of the human brain. But we won, Neanderthals lost. And our brain evolved in a time where those who had the most hostile relationship to others might have been successful. That there's a value in this. That we now have the luxury and convenience of being at the top of the mountain to examine, to reprogram ourselves. Whereas in the past, when life was nasty, brutish, and short, you focused on survival and relied on instincts. Today, we can look at life intelligently. We have the time to sit back and say, rant for 2 hours, 5 days a week on the internet if we feel like it. Today, we look up at the stars and wonder if we're alone in the universe. In fantasy and science fiction, we wonder what it might be like to meet other intelligent species like us, but not us. It's profoundly sad to think that we once did, and now because of it, they're gone. Evidence of unknown human species found in DNA of Melanesians from BigThink.com. Scientists found traces of a previously unknown long extinct human species hidden in the DNA of today's Melanesians. Melanesia is an area in the South Pacific Ocean to the northeast of Australia that includes the countries of Vanuatu, the Solomon Islands, Fiji, and Papua New Guinea, as well as some islands belonging to other nations. The two ancient hominid species whose DNA traces scientists expected to find were the Neanderthals and Denisovians, but the results of the study showed something else. The goal for the researchers was to investigate how much ancient DNA we carry today. there was a period between 100,000, because not only did we kill those other species, we fucked them too. The goal for the researchers was to investigate how much ancient DNA we carry today. There was a period between 100,000 and 60,000 years ago when several kinds of hominid ancestors intermingled as one group left Africa and met another living in Eurasia. What the scientists realized is that there could have been people other than Neanderthals or Denisovans involved in that we have not yet identified. We still carry some percentage of the ancient hominid DNA within us, with Europeans and Asians having about 1.5 to 4% Neanderthal DNA. Some of that heritage has actually resulted in various health issues. What's unusual is that the DNA of the Melanesians has about 1.11% of Denisovian DNA, an amount higher than in other groups. It is also different from the amount of 3% estimated by other studies. Studying this incongruity led the scientists to conclude that another third group of people bred with early Melanesians. As one of the study authors, Bo Lender, said, human history is a lot more complicated than we thought it was. That's putting it mildly. Certainly good news to see that we are able to use technology to probe our history and understand ourselves like never before. Now, talking about historical discoveries and technology, I have several times fantasized about drones. Like we talk about metal detectors, right? That you have metal, like when someone asks you, can I probe your land with a metal detector? Probe, that's not the right word. Can I scan your land with a metal detector, walk around and, well, you can have a drone do it. Imagine having a drone, but you just program it to go here, 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 and you just sit there and read a book or watch it go zigzag across the land. It gives you a map, and it goes, here's nothing, and here's this, and it's this many feet deep. And sonar says it looks like this. Well, and I've said, well, that's going to happen at some point on a global scale. We're going to dig up all the fossils, or maybe we'll stop digging them up because there'll be too many, right? But you'll be able to see them. We'll map them in the ground. Well, that to see that starting to come to life was such a cool, like I told you so moment for myself. ScienceNews.org. Drones find signs of a Native American great settlement beneath a Kansas pasture. The sprawling town may have been home to thousands before Spanish explorers arrived. Specially equipped drones. You hear that shit? That's what I was talking about. Specially equipped drones flying over a Kansas cattle ranch have detected the buried remnants of a horseshoe-shaped ditch made more than 400 years ago by ancestors of today's Wichita and affiliated tribes, scientists say. The find adds to suspicions that the Kansas site was part of a sprawling population center that Spanish explorers dubbed the Great Settlement in 1601. Archaeologist Jesse Cassana of Dartmouth College and his colleagues report August 24 in American Antiquity. Called Etzanoa by a captive the Spanish took from the Great Settlement, it could turn out to be one of the largest Native American settlements ever established north of Mexico. Confirmed by further research, the largest currently known is Cahokia, a site in what's now Illinois, where as many as 20,000 people lived between 1050 and 1150. And this is just fun to see that we are technology being applied to probe this. All right, did I say probe again? dailystar.co.uk. Astonishing NASA clip captures UFO colliding with ISS to spark conspiracy meltdown. The YouTuber spotted the orb, claimed it changed direction in the video, which could indicate intelligent control. The video sparked a wave of debate online. And it's not exactly a collision, obviously, but did you show that clip up there? What was the comment? I do not comprehend how they send or receive messages through the radioactive Van Allen belts. Good question. Should we play the aliens thing so I have an excuse to take another sip of coffee? Because we got alien stories coming up. We're like legit alien stories.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you will, look right here.
All right, either some of that good Canadian weed is getting smoked in the skies, or we're getting more governments fucking with this. Because I don't think this is aliens, but Vice Motherboard has the story. Commercial airline pilots keep reporting UFOs over Canada. Vice World News has uncovered dozens of recent UFO reports from Air Canada, WestJet, Porter, and other airlines in a government aviation incident database. On the morning of May 30, 2016, an Air Canada Express flight from Montreal to Toronto reported it crossed an unidentified flying object, round in shape, flying at approximate speeds of 300 kilometers KTS, which I don't know what that is, 550 kilometers per hour. 300 knots, or more than 550 kilometers per hour, over 8,000 feet above Lake Ontario on November 14 of that year. 2 crew members were injured when a Porter Airlines plane dove to avoid hitting an object that appeared to be solid and shaped like an upright donut or inner tube. By combing through thousands of reports in the government flight incident database, Vice World News has uncovered dozens of recent UFO sightings from Canadian and international airlines. It's government's fucking with us. Maria weighing in, I'm not ready for alien contact. I'm not ready either. Hold on. Okay, now I'm ready. I used VR1, and one came to me, and I got so scared, which made me realize I'm not ready for contact. Well, you don't get to be ready or not. If it happens, it happens. But it's not going to happen like this. And that's one of these things. You look at these stories like this, you go, like, if an alien came to Earth, would they talk to the U.S. and Israel governments? No. Fuck you. No. For those guys telling that story, no. Fuck you. Would they skim the planet and little things? No. Those are UFOs, unidentified flying objects. They're not aliens. And to me, there's just enough in the stuff that government is capable of putting in the air secretly that you go, yeah, that's going to look like a UFO, that they're fucking with people. Or they get caught unintentionally, Construction management, that's if you believe in NASA and space. No, the Earth is flat and 5,000 years old. Space doesn't exist, and birds aren't real. And smoking cannabis will keep you from getting COVID. Newsandobserver.com, in a small North Carolina town, a company is using old tires to mine cryptocurrencies. Just cool note, sign of the times of technology that, that's how one of the ways we're like Jay said about energy, we're able to take energy, make something out of it. Reuters technology, Amazon will let Whole Food shoppers pay with a swipe of their palm. Well, eventually it's going to be with an RFID chip embedded under your skin, right? Just a cool little sign of the times again. USA Today now in some historical stuff, right? Nation, the tipping point, first T-Rex mass death site in southern U.S. found in Utah strengthens evidence of pack behavior. Oh yeah, T-Rexes lived in packs. The Tyrannosaurus Rex may not have been as solitary as we believed in a groundbreaking discovery of the first T-Rex mass death site in the southern U.S. announced Monday by the Utah Bureau of Land Management. Scientists found evidence of pack-like behavior among the famous ancient predator in the Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument. As Joe Surtek, curator of dinosaurs at the Denver Museum of Nature and Science, said the new Utah site adds to the growing body of evidence showing that tyrannosaurs were complex, large predators capable of social behaviors common in many of their living relatives, the birds, if you believe that birds are real. The discovery should be the tipping point for reconsidering how these top carnivores behaved and hunted across the northern hemisphere during the Cretaceous. So obviously T-Rexes were the government drones of their day because, T-Rexes evolved into birds, and since birds are government drones, then T-Rexes were probably alien drones, something like that. PBS.org, primordial black holes could explain dark matter, galaxy growth, and more. Gotta skim a bunch of these headlines. From TheVerge.com, watch the first footage of a helicopter on Mars. Jim, just play this while I read a few more stories. This is just really cool visual here. Psychic Taxi, this is what happens when you mix UFOs and weed. I become skeptical. That's what happens, is that I just go, oh, yes, this is all bullshit. It's just government fucking with us. There are no aliens because aliens would, if they were going to like approach humanity, they wouldn't like scare pilots. That's something government would do. The Bite at futurism.com is our next headline. Russia's reportedly abandoning the International Space Station. Country might be launching its own space station soon. Good. More competition in space. Fun side story, Wired, if we wanted to get heavy and scary, but I'm going to spare Fina this one. Hackers used to be humans. Soon AIs will hack humanity. Like crafty genies, AIs will grant our wishes and then hack them, exploiting our social, political, and economic systems like never before. Yeah, I mean, the hockey stick thing, could be like, and then boom. We could be the first species whose ancestors get us to the top of Mount Everest and all the parts to build the rocket, and then we put it together wrong and blow ourselves up with it because we didn't fix the violence bullshit first. Hothardware.com. Scientists say Deep Space Network could detect extraterrestrial life in just a few years. Well, hard to say about how many years it's going to be, right? DroneDJ.com. Here's the fun change in gears to a high-tech story. I love this. This could get QR codes to make a comeback. Incredible video shows drone creating scannable QR code in the sky. Move over, television ads and billboards. The future of marketing will be shaped by drones. Quite literally, on April 17, about 1,500 drones took over Shanghai skies to commemorate the first anniversary of a Japanese video game's launch in China. The brilliant aerial dance of the drones brought the characters of the role-playing game Princess Connect re-dive to life and narrated how the game worked. The choreography ended with the drones forming a giant scannable QR code in the sky, prompting viewers to download and install the game on their smartphones. Twitterati was quick to point that the marketing stunt gave off Blade Runner 2049 vibes. Blade Runner 2049 is a neo-noir sci-fi film set in dystopian LA, saturated with marketing campaigns. But yeah, this is, and who knows how this is going to be regulated, and I mean, I don't mean, well, yeah, probably by government, but one might just shut this down or would take over some monopoly on permits for this or something like that, but who knows. Artnews.com, using artificial intelligence, speaking of which, researchers unlocked secrets about Dead Sea Scrolls. Yeah, we're using it for that too. Next, Daily Star, visionary plans for roll-up TVs, smart contact lenses, and invisible computers. Exclusive roll-up TV. And so there are some immediate practical crazy things on the horizon. Speaking of which, The Guardian, attack of the drones, the mystery of disappearing swarms in the U.S. Midwest. When groups of sinister drones began hovering over homes in America's Midwest, the FBI, U.S. Air Force, and 16 police forces set up a task force, but the drones vanished. Did they even exist? Doesn't matter. That technology is possible, and as long as government exists, it could fall into the wrong hands. Construction management, I'm claiming I don't know, hence the space. Okay, I'm not sure what that refers to. BigThink.com, NOAA discovers a new, beautifully weird sea creature. Exceptionally high-quality videos allow scientists to formally introduce a remarkable new comb jelly. You just get that picture up. Man, that thing looks so cool. Up next from cbc.ca, that's Canada, scientists discover hybrid ermine species isolated in Haida Gwaii for 300,000 years. Haida ermines are different in both DNA and appearance, says University of Kansas scientists. I don't know if you see the picture of this totally white thing with crazy black eyes. I want one. Let's domesticate these. I want a pet. Next, we have another UFO article from Daily Star. Aviation Authority unable to identify blue UFO that crashed in Hawaii. A new report of Freedom of Information request sent to the FAA found that no planes were in the area at the time a strange object was filmed in the sky. Now we're not. I think we're gonna have to come back to this one on a weekday show. But EU outlines ambitious AI regulations focused on risky uses. I'll look at that deeper. KHN.org. Good news story for human optimization. Airports step up mental health assistance as passenger anxiety soars. Too bad it's necessary in the first place, and a product of government monopolies on airports. Skipping ahead, I love this Wall Street Journal story. This is really cool. I didn't get to read this whole story. I'm going to go back and read this one. The newest status symbol for high net worth homeowners, trophy trees. Yeah, and the subtitle kind of says it all. In search of the perfect garden, the super rich are paying upwards of hundreds of thousands of dollars to bring in huge old trees by helicopter, barge, and flatbed truck. And I go, hell yeah, valuing nature. That is, but really, I want to say, how about get the, instead of having one, and this is cool. I'm not going to like complain about this, that in the story, they have a tree in a courtyard kind of in the middle of a house. That's pretty cool. Incorporate with nature. But like, I look at the trees around us here in Gardena, and like, buy some land, get some amazing trees like we have here. Let's see, skipping ahead, skipping some of these not quite good news stories that we can save for Monday. KIRO7.com. SpaceX launches 10 stunning photos captured by stargazers. You want to just scroll through those there for a minute, Jim? We have a reused capsule, a rocket, SpaceX rocket launched there. We have, or actually, is this? Oh, sorry, they don't have a separate caption. Oh, the Crew Dragon. Wait a second. Anyway, just a really cool gallery. But scroll down here, Jim, and you get the actual gallery, not just the SpaceX, but the official photo gallery, but these photos of the launch from other locations. There's one with the helicopter in front of it, one of it going across some clouds, just beautiful skies, one over a looks like a lifeguard station at the beach, over some buildings, over open water, over a pier. I mean, just really cool stuff. And yeah, like welcome to the future and the beauty of it. Now, accusation story next from Daily Star. Elon Musk's SpaceX denies 2 satellites nearly collided in disaster space crash. Elon Musk's company claims there was no close call between Starlink and OneWeb in orbit after reports of the 2 satellites sparked red alerts early this month. It's just cool to watch this whole industry unfold. Now, funny thing, CNBC, when I saw this headline, Tesla cars can drive with nobody in the driver's seat, Consumer Reports engineers find. So this is allegedly like the safety thing. And it's like, we tricked it to drive with no one in the driver's seat. You know, it's supposed to have one there. BMW, Ford, GM, Subaru, and others use camera-based driver assistance systems to track movement of a driver's eyes and head position to make sure they are minding the road. Tesla has sensors in the steering wheels instead. So really interesting to see if you can. And I'm thinking like, oh, so a Tesla, you can ghost ride the whip there too, right? MarketWatch.com. Artificial intelligence has advanced so much it wrote this article. You ready to get heavy again? You ready to see why we do this every Friday? Is to look up at where this rocket ship is pointed. And it might not be off this planet for quite a while. We might evolve to a high-tech state of existence here, with space exploration just being another thing that happens, and a lot of people being referred to as the earthbound. And I might be one of them. You know, I say about a lot of the technology, I don't want to be among the first, but I'll be among the second. You know, like, let someone else have a safe run first. Rob B weighs in. It's a light in the sky that wanders. That is all that is sure. Okay. Natural language processing rivals human skills. Back to the AI. I did not write this article. It has a byline by Jureka Duchmovic. In fact, it wasn't written by any person. Every sentence you see after this introduction is the work of OpenAI's GPT-3, a powerful language prediction model capable of composing sentences of coherent text. The only thing I did was provide it with topics to write about. I did not even fix its grammar or spelling. According to OpenAI, more than 300 applications are using GPT-3, which is part of a field called natural language processing. An average of 4.5 billion words are written per day. Most of them are useless text messages. Some say the quality of GPT-3's text is as good as that written by humans. Well, that's a pretty low bar given the kind of humans who have access to cell phones. What follows is GPT-3's response to topics in general investing. Q&A with the computer. Market Watch. How to invest in cryptocurrencies by GPT-3. GPT-3. The growing popularity of cryptocurrency means there are hundreds of opportunities to choose from, but no matter how tempting it is to buy a partially inflated coin or invest in a minor one with big expectations, only a few cryptocurrencies really offer good investment opportunities. That is a really good start, Mr. Computer. Holy shit. Better than I could have put it. Until they can program AI to make fun of itself and dumb dad jokes, I think I'm good, but holy shit, this is like really good, just overall summary advice for crypto right off the bat. One sentence. Perfectly composed, no grammar or spelling errors. The market is incredible. So going on, there's more. The market is incredibly volatile and risky, so it's essential to read up on the fundamental value and technology of the crypto companies you're going to invest in. The market capitalization of a cryptocurrency is no indication of its worth, and there are many coins which are technically worth more than their price would indicate. You can try trading, but if you don't wish to risk losing your money, you can always treat it like betting on horses. Now, I would start to take issue with a few things like companies you're going to invest in or blockchains and currencies you're going to invest in or speculate on, right? And then it goes on, here are some good cryptocurrencies if you want to invest: Bitcoin, Ethereum, Monero, and Litecoin. Market Watch then asks, what about investing in traditional assets? GPT-3, the only thing I know how to do is write about things that I don't know about. Before my venture, I wrote an essay offering general advice on low-risk investing. All right, I'm going to stop because this is amazing, and you could just keep going, but like this is AI information processing. This is where we're at. Finally, popularmechanics.com. The universe is in all the things, everything. The universe is a machine that keeps learning, scientists say. Basically, we live in one giant algorithm by Caroline Delbert. This is the nature of existence. New research suggests the universe is teaching itself physics as it evolves. The researchers want to use this study to spin off a whole new area of cosmology research. The learning of the universe is similar to evolution. And I had a scary idea when I was a child that when I learned about the Big Bang, I saw that the universe expanded and that somehow it spawned intelligent life that sought order out of chaos, all the way down to proteins being a more ordered form of the primordial goo when hit with lightning and the right mixture, creating single-celled organisms that are outcompeted by multi-celled organisms, up to human societies that cooperate, being able to outcompete those that are always at war, and that the nature of the universe is seeking order, entropy, order out of chaos. And that perhaps in a scary way, we are just one link in this chain of the universe ever blowing up into what we see today until it somehow at some point spawns intelligent life. And that intelligent life is the gray goo of the universe. Oh yes, I did not come up with the gray goo scenario, but hypothetically we could come up with a mechanical virus that can attach itself to any matter and turn it into itself. And then the whole planet dissolves into a mass of gray goo. Sounds like something Kurt Vonnegut might write about, right? But at a bigger level, perhaps we humans, this these humans who find ourselves at the peak of the mountain about to print rocket ships and populate the cosmos are going to be mining them for resources, are somehow eventually going to create new black holes with the garbage of the universe and fold it all back into itself until it explodes again. And that is the actual circle of life. In fascinating new research, cosmologists explain the history of the universe as one of self-teaching autodidactic algorithms. The scientists, including physicists from Brown University and the Flatiron Institute, say the universe has probed all the possible physical laws before landing on the ones we observe around us today. Could this wild idea help inform scientific research to come? In their novella-length paper published to the preprint server at ARXIV, the researchers who received computational, logistical, and other general support from Microsoft offer ideas at the intersection of theoretical physics, computer science, and philosophy of science, with a discussion from all three perspectives. They write, teasing the bigness and multidisciplinary nature of the research. Here's how it works. Our universe observes a whole bunch of laws of physics, but the researchers say other possible laws of physics seem equally likely given the way mathematics works in the universe. So if a group of candidate laws were equally likely, then how did we end up with the laws we really have? As they explain, quote, the notion of learning as we use it is more than moment-to-moment brute adaptation. It is a cumulative process that can be thought of as theorizing, modeling, and predicting. For instance, the DNA, RNA, protein system on Earth must have arisen from an adaptive process, and yet it foresees a space of organisms much larger than could be called upon in any given moment of adaptation. And at some point, intelligent life is spawned. And this process perhaps is accelerated exponentially. And we get to be the humans blessed enough to be conscious enough to see that we are the universe becoming aware of itself. And with that, Fina, comments. Take us home, dear. What do we have?
Wow, the universe is becoming conscious of itself. You know, I was gonna come on, I was gonna show you guys some things, but I decided to become conscious of what I'm putting out in the universe as well. And so no surprises now. So sorry if you meant like we're disappointed, but I do have a comment contest.
Okay.
And it was best weed songs. And I even have one queued up. And this one is from Gemma Evans. And was it last week that we did some like freedom songs? But I don't remember. But she had proposed this song for that week as well. And it's a really good song. And so I'm going to just play 10-second clip. I got so high that I saw Jesus.
Thank you. What was the one? I like you better when you're high. Can you play that clip also?
Mine? Okay, give me a second.
And then we'll get Jim up here and smoke weed every day.
Yeah, there was a lot of great songs that people came up with, but this one's mine again. Okay, long. I like you better when you're high. Cause when you're high, you never make me cry. I like you better when you smoke. Cause when you smoke, you laugh at all my jokes. I like you better when you're stoned. Cause when you're stoned, you never bitch and moan. There's just so many reasons why. I like you better when you're high. I'm also glad it's legalized.
All right. I got it.
All right. So it is by a band called Wax. So, anyways. Aloha, Adam, Jim, Freedom Gang, Thank you for having me on your show again. Thank you for Frank for having me at your house.
Yes, thank you, Frank.
Thank you for coming. Hey, thanks you guys for having me. You guys are cool dudes. I'll definitely be watching the show, and I enjoyed it.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Friday's a good way to be introduced to Adam versus the Man. The rest of the week is sort of heavier, more news headliney and a little less fun, but I hope even more empowering. I don't know. There's something about covering the good news this way that really is empowering, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right.
Bye.
Jim, take us on with the program.
Aloha.
Boom. What's going on? Proper outro for the Peanut. I wasn't sure if we were still doing Smoke Weed, so I had it prepped, but apparently we're not. Her song was good.
I thought we were. I guess I just. There's a sort of like as we develop the show, and now that the studio's built, and we're working on a few things to get Adam versus the Man to the next production level. Now that some of this is taken care of and out of the way. And big shout out to G.I. Mary Jane for Joey Lee for helping this last week, especially getting the studio set up. But now that we have like an office space, we have like a comfortable space for interns to stay. We have, her possibly getting more people plugged in here and developing the content for the show. Maybe it'll get a little less free form, a little less flowy as we get a little better. But right now it's got kind of a free flow in nature. I was kind of hoping it would be all of us up on stage and you would do Smoke Weed every day and then do the promos. But I go with what you guys put together sometimes.
Smoke weed every day. Smoke weed every day.
Till the next episode. So, if you want to be a part of it, we got a public Telegram channel. I don't know if you've heard or not, but it's at t.me/Adam versus the Man right on the Telegram Messenger app. So get involved, get connected. Any of the articles, like we skipped a few there, all those links for those are in there if you were really excited to hear a specific thing that he happened to gloss over because it's Happy Friday. So get yourself involved. After that, go to the website and click all the buttons, do all the things. You know what to do. It's adamversustheman.com. There's a Patreon link. $10 a month is going to get you access to the Producers Club as a better patron. Then you can go right back to the website and shop all you want at the shop and get 15% off and free shipping on everything there with the Adam versus the Man logo or the Freedom logo. Then you can go to the Cigar Federation and use promo code ADAM10 to get 10% off of your entire order there. And you'll be good to go. So check out all those things. Also, Instagram at the Garden of Freedom. All kinds of new pictures and videos of Adam up there in Gardenia. So check that out. TheCrypto6.com. Everybody still needs your help there. So visit it. TheCrypto6.com. This is what the website looks like. So you know you're at the right spot. Scroll down just at the bottom of the page. You can get your ways to support them with the QR codes to donate crypto. And lastly, as our guest was finally demonstrating his knowledge today on all of the turbines and wind or energy production, go to gogreenenergyonline.com. If you like his wisdom, you can get plenty more of it through his website, gogreenenergyonline.com, and get yourself educated. Micro wind, solar wind, zero energy homes. Good to be educated. Have a nice day.
All right. Well, with that, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a really fun Friday. It's been a great week. Really appreciate everybody being a part of this. Mwah. Peace and love, y'all. Choose happiness and be excellent to each other.